guys, Master One is back, and today I'm gonna continue update my 3 week vacation, the last portion, the last week that I spent in Alaska. Before I start, I'm just gonna let you know what I'm eating today. Today I'm eating some barbecues. We got some brisket in here, a piece of ribs, chicken, mac and cheese, and some potato salad. And of course, for a fat ass like me, this is not gonna be enough. So I got 2 slices of pieces in here. And to drink today, I'm gonna have a special drink. Kvass. Most of you probably never heard of this before. It's actually a drink from Mother Russia. It's made of, I think, fermented bread. So it does give you like a similar to alcohol kind of taste, because I think alcohol is a fermented wheat. It's very unique, this kind of taste. It doesn't taste like nothing like what's on the market. A lot of the sodas that they have in the grocery store, they taste pretty much like each. Actually, I think majority of the drinks can be just categorized into 3 different kind of flavor, like either Coke, Sprite, or Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is definitely unique on its own, but this tastes like nothing like them. So I like it a lot. And also, this full can only has 40 calories in it. That's like a third of the calorie compared to like a Coke or Sprite. Pour over the ice. So we fly from Houston Fairbanks, and to my surprise, the airport is extremely small. Just as small as airports in Hawaii, and very simple. Right after we get off the plane, I realized I have no signal. I saw there was something wrong with my phone. Kept on trying, not receiving signal at all. Finally, when I reached to the hotel, we connect with the Wi-Fi. I can't like Google, like person can't receive any signals in Alaska. Turns out that T-Mobile does not provide service in Alaska. So they replaced by another company. And I guess you have to register with that company and use their SIM card in order to receive signal. So fuck all of that. Lucky for us, we prepared an extra SIM card from AT&T, just in case, sometimes, T-Mobile's signal is really bad, especially in suburban area. So that comes very handy. That's about it. Let me try some of the brisket. Tender and juicy. I already poured some of the barbecue sauce on top of the food. So when we arrived at Fairbanks, it's already 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so we need to find a place to eat. Look through Yelp. I'm pretty surprised to see there's not a lot of restaurants in Fairbanks. It only has like a handful, I guess, that actually has some reviews or ratings on Yelp. Everything else is like probably even no reviews or just a couple of them, and with barely having any pictures on the so it doesn't help a lot. So finally we decided to eat like in one of the Japanese restaurants, because that's at least one of the restaurants that has like a rating of like above 4 stars. Everything else is like below 4. But even that restaurant has only like 109 ratings on it. We got there, then we realized they have no dining in options because of COVID. So the only option is takeout. So I was like, okay, fine, we'll just take it back to the hotel. So we ordered through the menu. The menu, it was one of the worst menu ever. And you think about it, this is like actually one of the restaurants that has the better rating. Can you imagine like what the other restaurant looks like? I mean, the menu has 200 items on it. I'm not kidding. It looks like a phone book. So many different items on there that you know right off the bat, this restaurant doesn't specialize in anything if they serve that many items. So I ordered some udon and some sushi, and it tastes like the quality is from like a grocery market. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, besides that, I think it's pretty cool that Alaska during that time of the year, it has full daylight throughout the day. So when we're going to sleep at around 1 a.m. in the morning, the sun was still up. It only like lowered a little bit, but it's still, you can see the sunlight everywhere is bright. So that's pretty cool. I have never experienced that. So we have to, close the curtain really tight to be able to sleep. And that's pretty much for day 1. like several spots in Fairbanks that we want to visit. And it's also pretty much a day that we need to gather supplies because we're gonna do food day activities for the next 3 days. And those activities like in the middle of nowhere, so we need like food and drinks, snacks. So we left the hotel. I want to get some coffee first, and there are several like pretty popular coffee spots in Alaska. We went to like one of the chain coffee place, and it's pretty small, and it seems like it's drive-through only. The line was so long, it literally going all the way out on the street. So after I saw that, I was like, no, fuck that, I'm out. I mean, how could you manage a business of coffee shop when you have a line that long and the service that slow? Like, we waited in the line for like 15 minutes and it's barely moving. So we have to like, drove off. And I guess in big city you go to the coffee right before you go to work, right? I mean, it's supposed to be like fast going, go out type thing, but I mean, who can afford to wait that long to get coffee? I was like, no, fuck that. So I went to like another place to get coffee, and guess what? It was the same situation. The line was super fucking long. It's not moving. I was like, no, man, fuck that coffee, man. I'm go to the grocery store and get the coffee. So I headed directly to one of the grocery store. I think it's kind of local. It's like one of the chain grocery store cooperating with Kroger, because a lot of the supplies, it looks like it's the same manufacturer from Kroger's. So we just went there, got some supplies, and we saw a huge sandwich. The sandwich was so big, literally it's like the size of my leg. I'm not kidding. And we got that just for the fun, It doesn't look like tasting that good. I mean, just like a normal sandwich with lettuce and ham inside. But it was like ridiculously big. So we just got that. And we didn't have anything for breakfast. So we're just gonna buy some deli food from the store. And the service was super slow. The food was already there, Deli food is like a cafeteria style. You just point what you want and they're supposed to just put it on the container, wait it, slap a price tag on that, and that's supposed to be it, right? No, they don't have the container prepared, and they don't have the spoon prepared, so they have to like find it like at the moment. I was like, what kind of preparation is that? I mean, yeah, it took me like almost 20 minutes to order some egg rolls, a corn dog, a pizza roll, and 6 pieces of chicken nuggets. Those were already cooked and already ready in front of you, and it took them 20 minutes to put them in the container. Efficiency is definitely not the goal from Alaska. Everybody is like very laid back, very chill. No rush, no hurry. the ice cream, and yeah, it is delicious. I actually never really had a bad ice cream before. You know, and I can't tell if it's better than like marble slabs or Baskin Robbins. I feel like they're pretty much on the same level. Very sweet, very creamy. So that was definitely a good experience. After that, we went to one of the museums in Fairbanks. It's actually within the campus of Fairbanks University. It's called Museum of the North. So we got inside and it wasn't that big, you know. And the stuff they have in there, it's okay-ish, you know. We're from Houston and we have a natural science museum in here, and the scale is much bigger. But I guess they have like a couple of really unique items over there. But generally speaking, it's all right. Before the trip, we can Google like what's fun in Alaska or Fairbanks and Anchorage. One of the things, or one of the top activities they listed is China Hot Spring. It's like 70 miles northeast of Fairbanks. So on the picture, it looks pretty good because, you know, those were taken during the winter. So you have the snow around the hot spring and the steam come out, you know. It makes the scene looks very attractive. But we forgot it was, you know, summer when we went there. So when we got there, it wasn't the feeling that we were expecting. So we're kind of like discouraged to try. And when I got near to the hot spring, I put my hand inside of it. I felt like the temperature of the water is really high. So I felt like it's a little bit too hot for me. And it cost like $45 per person to get in or something like that. And so I was like, I don't feel like doing this, because then after you get into the hot spring, when you come out you have to take showers with all the hassles and changing clothes. I was like, nah, you know what, just look around. The place is actually pretty neat. It has like a lot of you have a couple of like old airplanes or jet. They just put on there as a decoration. They have a lot of old farming vehicles. asked for directions. And the lady working in the front was like, I guess she was asked so many times, so she was kind of like really impatient. So I was asking for like where do I go for the hot spring, like before I even like able to finish my sentence. She was like pointing like behind, okay, go this way, turn right, whatever. And then she just left. Oh, okay. So after that, or like, I think we're done with Fairbanks because the next day we're gonna have activity in Denali, which is a park that's south of Fairbanks. It's like a 2 hours 30 minutes drive. So we want to start traveling early. We don't want to drive the 2 hours 30 minutes in the dark in the evening. So after China Hot Spring, we drove back to Fairbanks, and then we just put some gas in the car and just headed directly to Denali. Man, the chicken's kind of dry. I know this is gonna happen since it's a piece of chicken breast. Man, the chicken breast is always kind of dry compared to like thighs or wings. But when we arrived at the hotel, we realized there's no microwaves and no refrigerator. Well, there is a refrigerator, but no microwave. Originally, we know there's not gonna be a lot of restaurants around the hotel because it's so close to the national park. It's the middle of nowhere. So we just bought them like fast food and frozen food from the grocery market earlier that day. So we just think about, hey, just microwave in the hotel so we can eat as dinner, but no microwave in there because they were like, oh, it's middle of the desert, so they're trying to protect the environment. No microwave. Up until today, I still don't know what that means. Like, what is microwave has anything to do with protecting the environment? So, I mean, it does have like a couple restaurants inside the resort. The resort kind of connects with national park. It has a huge area. They have souvenir shops inside of it, and it has a couple restaurants. We went to one of the restaurants. They have a menu placed outside. We look at it, not so impressed with what they have to offer, and the price is kind of high. Well, it makes sense because it's right besides national park. But my wife doesn't even want to eat over there. coffee maker to boil water. Lucky for us, we brought 2 cup of cup noodle. So we just, and that's easy cook when you have like hot water. We also have a frozen Philly cheesesteak sandwich, but we can't warm it up with no microwave, you know. So what we saw is we use the sink in the shower. We plugged it and we poured down a whole bunch of hot water boiled from the coffee maker. So you have like a warm bath, right? Then we put the cold sandwich into a Ziploc bag and dip that water and drop the Ziploc bag into the hot water. Always, because of the buoyancy force, it kept wants to come out of the water, right? It wants to flow on top of it. It doesn't want to go down, so we put like 2 big bottles of water to press it down so it can stay beneath the water and getting warmed up. We did like for 15 minutes until the water's not cold anymore. And we took out the sandwich. Yeah, it's still kind of uneatable. So we failed. We didn't able to warm the sandwich up. It just turns from like a frozen cold hard sandwich to like a smooshy, soft, wetty sandwich. So I'm like, ugh, disgusting. We didn't even I took 1 bite and just throw the rest of it away. So that night, just ramen noodles, cup noodles, and some chips. The 3rd day, we went to Denali. Through the bus. Okay. I know nothing about Denali. My wife told me it's one of the prettiest parks, or one of the parks that you have to go in Alaska. So I was like, okay. So we'll find out like before the trip I kind of googled like online, like trying to search like how to getting there, like do you have to walk or can you drive over there or inside of the park. It turns out that most of the time you have to go with the tour bus. So when you buy the ticket, you are basically paid the service for the tour bus. You can go with your own vehicle, but you can only go to a certain distance. Like you can't go too deep inside the park because the road is unpaved. Some of the road is really, really narrow and it's not safe. And even with the COVID, they have more restriction. It's like you have to go into this like lottery polling system to be like selected as one of the lucky one to drive. And then some of the rental company, it does not allow you to rent their car and go to Denali. So that's too much trouble. It's like, fuck that, I'll just go with a tour bus. because when you get inside, you will realize, oh, there's not a lot going on. The park is huge, but there's not a lot going on. If you go in there by yourself, you don't even know where to focus. But she tells you a lot of details about the park, and she gave you a lot of stories of what happened in the park. So I feel like it's very worth it. My overall experience is totally not what I expected. I saw Denali. It's like the name of the park, like Yellowstone, or Yosemite. It's a park. No, Denali is actually the name of the mountain within the park. So it's actually the mountain that is famous and is hidden all the way in the back. So you go to the park to see the wild animals and hope for a chance to be able to see the Denali mountain far away. But most people are not so lucky because the weather is always rainy and cloudy in Denali. So most of the time the mountains are hidden by the cloud. You can't even see it. Only 25% of people able to see Denali. I was like, oh fuck, man. What did I come here for? The driver spent a lot of time driving the car and trying to help us spot wild animals like the bears, the fox, the wolves. However, those are way too far away. It's almost impossible to see with your own eyes. You have to use like a binocular. The driver has a very, very good camera that can zoom in so far. And the camera is connected with the TV in the bus. So when she catch one, she can record with a camera and translate the image on the TV. But overall, I wasn't very impressed with that because I just came back from Yellowstone and Grand Teton. Those two places have wild animals right beside me. So close. I don't need a binocular to see them. The view was, alright. It's cold. There's not a lot of things going on. When the driver basically finally drove us to this spot that's supposed to be one of the best spots for you to easily see Denali, the mountain. And we couldn't see anything because the cloud totally blocked it. So she was like, yeah, don't be disappointed, this is completely normal. Most people have to come here 3 or 4 times to see it. I'm like, well, whatever. But on the way back, at one spot, I would say that's like a third of distance to the exit point. She said, oh, here it is. We're lucky. And she pointed out. So I guess there's a wind blows by and just temporarily cleared the cloud. And the Denali mountain shows off. So we all got off the bus and taking pictures like crazy. And I look at it, was so far away. I guess Denali is famous because it's a very difficult mountain to climb. A lot of the mountain climbers trying to secretly coming to the Denali and trying to climb on top of it. Consider that's a huge achievement. But for a commoner like me, I wasn't too impressed by it. You know, it's cool to see, but still, I wouldn't spend a whole day just to see that. It took us like almost 7.5 hours front and back on that trip to see the valley. After that day, we're so cold and tired, so we need something tasting good. Went to one of the local pizza places, ordered pizza and some wings, ordered a flight of beers, drank all of them. It felt very refreshed after that. Well, that's pretty much it for day 3. For day 4, we have activity of ice mountain climbing in Matanuska Mountain. Me and my wife were very excited about the ice climbing because we've never done it before. I mean, even, you think about climbing on the ice, and we would look at the pictures when we Google what is ice climbing. It all looks pretty exciting. When we got there, I have to be honest, the mountain doesn't look as big as I thought. It's a huge pile of ice mountain, yes, but I was thinking about something totally different. I was thinking about endless of snow and ice. You're totally surrounded by it. But it wasn't that case. It's only in that little bit area that you have a lot of ice and snow. You're actually probably just climbing it near the beginning part, because walking on the ice takes a lot of time and it's quite difficult. We have to put on like 2 kinds of boots or gears when we're walking on muddy, watery ground. We have to use this kind of like a trail guard that it's like it's a kind of like a shoe strap. It has the spikes in the end, and you just ride it. It gives you a nice hold on the ground, and when you actually prepare to do the actual climbing, you have to wear the grills, like the one that's it's like made of iron. You put on your shoes. It has like 2 firm spikes in the front, and you have to tighten it up around your boots really, really well. So it's quite a lot of work just to walk around the mountain. So the tour consists of pretty much 2 parts. The first half, is hiking on the ice, because you can't just start climbing right at the beginning, right? There's nothing to climb. You have to walk kind of into like a little bit deeper into the Matanuska Mountain. I would say we have to find an elevated point that's high enough and steep enough for you to climb. So the first half is just hiking on the ice and looking around, which is pretty interesting. It's definitely a unique experience. And when you finally arrived at the place that you're about to climb, that elevation point is about, I would say, 3-floor building high. So the way to climb is, the mountain is pretty steep. I would say it's almost like not like a 90-degree angle, but I would say like at least an 80-degree special shoe cover that has two spikes in the front. And when you started to walk on the mountain, when you're trying to climbing, you're supposed to hit the spike into the ice perpendicularly. Let those spikes get into the ice so it can hold your feet. Then you can place the next one and next one. So basically you're climbing like that. I mean, I regret not buying like a globe ahead of time, because you do need the help of your hand to stabilize yourself when you're trying to climb. The guide are very experienced, so he just climbed up without using his hand, just like walking on the stairs. He has to get on top, set up the safety gears. We're basically using a rope to wrap around each of us. He's gonna hold the other end of the rope as a safety guard, so in case we fell, the rope will catch us. After he finished setup, we're ready to climb. Well, nobody wants to be the first because we're all inexperienced. So it's like, okay, who's want to be the first? We're kind of like looking at each other like, And after like 2 seconds, my wife was like, I'll be first. So she has a lot of experience with skiing and indoor climbing. So ice climbing isn't that hard for her, I guess. So she volunteered to be the first one. So we're just looking at her and just learn from her. And she climbed up really easily. And the second one is me. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hesitating. Okay, but you know, I done like indoor climbing before and it was way higher than this. So it wasn't that much of a big deal. I just did what they told me, to place the spike perpendicular to the ice wall. And I have to say, maybe I'm a little bit heavy. It does feel like you have to exert strength on your feet to make sure you don't slide away from the ice wall, because think about it, the ice pack is only that long, and yeah, you put it into the ice wall, it can hold you, but think about all your weight is placed on that point. It's like you have to lean your body kind of forward and put your hand on the wall, kind of stabilize yourself so you can keep on moving. So that's a problem when we don't have the glove, because when you put your hand on the ice wall, after a moment, you know, it starts to get like really, really cold. But you know, it's not that tall. Mountain wasn't that high, so I finished like within like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So, and other people, the other couple, Indian couple, they had no problem with it. You know, after we climbed up, we hiked for a while and we're trying to come down. Coming down is a different experience. Oh, it's a totally different experience. You know, when you're trying to, you probably know what I'm talking about, when you're trying to climb up the mountain and climbing down, the pressure and the anxiety is different, because when you looking up, you don't look down. When you're climbing up, you don't feel the height, because when you're climbing down from a high place, you're very conscious how high it is. So after he did all of that, the same thing, like fixing the safety gears on top of the mountain, we kind of hesitated again. But again, my wife volunteered to be the first. She was so brave. Before she put the rope on herself and started to climbing down, we we heard the Indian couple had like an argument. Well, basically, the guy wants his wife to go down first for two reasons. He wants to be the last one to go down. I guess he was so uncertain that he doesn't know how to climb down. He wants to see everybody to do it first, so he felt more confident of doing so, you know. But his wife feels the same way, and also, you know, it's easier, it's better to get photo and video recorded if you are the one on top and the people who taking the picture is down below, you know. That angle, the footage is gonna look so much better compared to somebody stay on top and take the picture for you, you know. So he wants his wife to go before him, so first he can see how everybody is doing, and second she can take the picture and video recording for him. And his wife said, no, I don't want to do that. And he said, yes, you have to do that. And his wife was like, no, I don't know how to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing it first. I don't want to be the one going first. And we were just like, me and my wife and the two guys were just looking at each other like, what the hell? It's like, come on, man, why are you forcing your wife to go down? But that guy was like, no, you have to go down first. You have to take a picture for me. No, you have to go. So it was kind of awkward. But at a split second, my wife stand up. My wife was like, hey, it's okay. Give me your phone. I will go down first, and I will take the video and picture for both of you guys. And I was like, oh shit, look at you. Damn. I have to say that I was quite impressed at that moment. Also, I kind of felt proud of her, you know. Like, I mean, she's good looking, and she's very athletic, and she's very also, you know, very considerating. Not like me. I mean, I'm a selfish little bastard. But yeah, that is something when she offers you that like right away, and yeah, I was very impressed. So that guy didn't even hesitate, just gave my wife the phone. Actually, my wife took the picture and recorded for all of us, all three of us. I was offering to, you know, take a picture or, you know, record for her. She was like, yeah, you don't even have to worry about it. We're gonna do this for plenty of times later, so we don't have to do it. I mean, you don't have to bother with, you know, trying to record me. I don't need it anyway. Oh, well, okay. Sure. So that was pretty much for day 4. Day 5, we scheduled kayaking activity in Prince William Sound. It's located in southeast side of Anchorage in a little town called Whittier. To get to that little town, you have to pass through a tunnel. The tunnel is scheduled to open just for one direction, so it's 30 minutes in and 30 minutes out. So you have to schedule your time precisely, otherwise you have to wait like almost 30 minutes at one side. So we get there, it's almost like a small fishing town. It doesn't have a lot of residential activities in there. Actually, the whole town has only one building designed for living. Whoever gonna stay in that town will live in that building. Most people get out of town at the end of the work. Maybe they live in Anchorage or whatever. So the company that we scheduled the tour with looks very consist 5 people, me and my wife, and another couple, and this guy. So the kayak was already prepared at the end of the dock, so we just have to walk over there, and then we carry the kayak down to the lake. So me and my wife were riding in one boat, and this is the first time we're kayaking together. And we started pretty horribly. We don't know how to control the direction, we don't know how to turn properly, how to speed up and stop. And the other couple, they done it several times, and so they're very smooth and fluently. They're already ahead of us from the beginning, so we're kind of like struggling. We even hit the rock one time because we don't know how to turn, but eventually we figured out. We cooperate and we figured out, and we're able to do this like a pro. So we just kind of like ride the boat from the dock. The passage is like it's almost like a canal. There's 2 mountains on each side, and you just basically rolling along one of the mountain and kind across to the other mountain and just rolling back along the other mountain. The view is very pretty, I would say. It feels very chill, very quiet, very relaxed, even though rolling the boat is a hard exercise. We're sweating all the way, and the waterproof clothes that we put it on does not, it doesn't let the air pass, so all the sweat got incubated inside, so it's not very comfortable, to be honest. But I will still say overall it's a good experience. So we kind of stop in the middle. We just find like a nearby little island. We got on the island, we ate our lunch, and the tour decided to give us a special treat. Hey, by the way, last time I was here, I discovered a small trail. So let's, it's not part of the tour, we didn't pay for that, but she was like, hey, we have some free time. I'll just, show you guys around. So we just followed her, walked around on that little island. It's pretty cool. I mean, we didn't see anything that's like mind-blowing, but still, it's a nice extra touch. And on the way back, we kind of run into this signature spot. I kind of already know because when I scheduled the tour, they put this spot on their webpage as the advertisement because it's special, right? So you coming along that mountain, there's a spot where there's like 1,000 of birds, maybe seagull, white seagull, docking on the mountain, and when you get nearby, they all fly in the group. It's a magnificent view to see so many seagulls flying around you. We just, halted in that spot for like 10 minutes, just looking at the seagulls flying across each other. It's a unique point of view. And then later, it started like raining pretty bad. Who cares, we're already wet from the sweat anyway. So we just kind of like roll back to the dock and end the day like that. Overall, it's pretty cool. And that's pretty much for day 5. Day 6, we're supposed to go back, fly back in the evening. So in the morning, we just shopped around inside months of them, we just kind of like visit one by one and just bought a lot of unique stuff. Spent a lot of money there. And ride the plane and fly back that night. And that's pretty much it. That's my third trip in Alaska. I'll definitely say the best activity is the Matanuska Mountain. Okay? The Matanuska Mountain. Again, don't understand that in compliment. The guy is so cold to his wife. Like, dude, like even the ice walking part, okay? There's a couple of times like his wife slipped on the ice and just fell down. And he just totally ignored him. He just turned his head and just looked at her and just kept on walking. What the and you know, me and my wife and the other guy, they were like, hey, we're trying to help her get up. It's like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you hurt? Like, do you need to stop for a second? You know, even like we're strangers, we're showing like sympathy and comfort to her, but you know, her husband is just completely like cold to her. And that guy is like an engineer from Google, so he must make a lot of money. I mean, for me, I was like, you know, if you were unhappy inside a marriage, just end it. I'm pretty sure people kept their marriage for whatever the reason, but me personally, I don't feel like it's worth it. Well, that's pretty much my trip for Alaska. I would definitely say the Matanuska ice climbing is the best activity out of all. Then after that, it's gonna be the Prince William Sound kayaking. And the Denali was like, yeah, it was alright. Wasn't that impressive to me. And it takes way too long of time. And that's pretty much it. Alaska, generally speaking, I think it's not as impressive as I thought. Because I guess I had too much expectation for it. I always wanted to go to Alaska because everybody has been saying Alaska is cold. I learned that from like media, from the movie too. Alaska is always cold. I don't like sunlight. I don't like heat. I don't know why I'm staying in Texas. But see, like when you have too much expectation, sometimes that they cost you. And on the opposite, Yellowstone and Grand Teton is the most impressive trip out of the three because I have least expectation for them. But still, I think the view, the scenario they offer is unique. It's not something that I've seen anywhere else. Well, this is it. I think I spent too much time talking. But hey, it's a good documentation of my life. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.